I think we might be on. Let me see on YouTube.
We live?
Believe so, sir. Let me check on YouTube. That's my only way to check. Bean, give us or not Bean, beat it. Give us a thumbs up if you can see us on our page.
Well, I think Bedick's just on the StreamYard, so
Yeah, I feel you, but I got him. I'm using him as a deucer right now. All right, he says 1 second. He's about to look too.
all right, perfect.
All right, your channel. Yeah, it says we're live.
We're
Cool.
fucking live. Week 2, baby.
There
Let's
go Mari
go.
with the fire in the chat.
We're
Cool.
fucking
Let's get him.
live. Week 2, baby.
There
Let's
go Mari
go.
with the fire in the chat.
We're fucking live. Week 2, baby.
There
Let's
go
go.
Mari with the fire in the chat.
We're fucking live. Week 2, baby.
All right. Now we're good.
I just muted Bedick.
Okay. No, it wasn't him. It was my YouTube tab that I pulled up on my computer.
Oh.
It was playing over my speakers. Yeah. Very professional setup we got going on here.
All right. Can you hear me good?
I hear you.
All right. Perfect. All right. We got our mics back this week. Anyone who had complaints on the sound, mainly myself, from the podcast last week, we apologize.
Yeah, we couldn't hear anything. Hopefully this week we come out a little clearer.
It wasn't that bad.
But like I was very loud because I don't like to yell when I'm, I like to kind of
checked in. Yeah, I checked in. That's what I heard. That was the complaint. It was a little bit low, but we're back. The mics are back. All right. Well, you got any picks for tonight, Nick? Before we go live for the podcast?
I don't got any picks for tonight. I think that the Vikings don't stand a chance. But outside of that, I don't got any picks. I don't like. I think the spread is what 7, not 6. I can't bet Philly -6. The Vikings had their centers out. They're using a backup center. Yeah, they had a short week to practice. They had a couple days. I don't know.
Brendan's saying tease Philly and the over. That is probably a solid idea.
I don't hate teasing Philly. I don't hate doing either of those.
Last week, if you remember, let's see where. Jack, the Michael Thomas jersey. Well, we're going to leave him up there because, it's really all he's got left in his life is me being a fan and $100 million, which ain't too bad either. But he's going to stay up there. I know he doesn't really fit in with Dwayne Wade and Magic Johnson, but, we're giving him a little love still. But, yeah, he's hanging on for dear life. Yeah, so if you remember last week on the pre-pod show, which this is, I gave out the Amon-Ra St. Brown over 74.5 yards. He had 71 with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter, and he didn't catch another ball. That was tough. But we're going back to the yard. We're going to roll. I'm rolling A.J. Brown this week, over 74.5 yards. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, Jack. He's
a lot of yards.
It's not a lot of yards for A.J. Brown. That's like 2 catches, I feel like,
I know. I felt like that wasn't a lot of yards for Amon-Ra either, though. But they're
well, I saw also T.J. Hawkinson is let's see what he is now. He's over 49.5 yards over under. Supposedly, I read a post that 99% of the bets were on the over. So when they're too good to be true, sometimes they don't hit. Tommy, you're the man. Preesh is in the building. Brendan's in the building. We got the Bedicks. We got Amari in the building. And we got Quiz. Is it Quiz?
Keith. In the streets with Keith.
Keith. That's got it. I mean, everyone's here for Nick. We know the deal. We know the deal. The international listeners, if you're listening, I can already see the Argentinian fans coming in. We got a few viewers from Argentina. They're here.
They're quiet in the chat,
Thank you, Nick.
But they're there.
They're quiet in the chat, that's for sure. They don't like to hop in the chat, but I got another email from a very not suspicious source, like the email we got last year, and we're still top 10 fantasy football and gambling podcasts in Argentina. Yeah.
What do you know?
So, all right, we ready to go live?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready live, but we're ready to, You know
Ready
what I'm
to start
saying?
the
Let me
pod?
let me actually pull up the sponsor's website before we officially go live, so I don't
Okay.
have to do that later.
Sounds good. I'll
Yeah,
I'll ad lib and ad read for us to start the pod.
I'm ready. Okay.
All right, we're live. Podcast 3, week 2, 2023 NFL season, and we're brought to you by Diet Smoke. Kiri towels, I'm not going to lie, they're fantastic towels. They're soft, they're durable, they're great for golf, the gym, but they couldn't afford us this week. We had a high price tag for viewership this week, and we've got Diet Smoke, our OG. Yeah, we pulled Kiri this week. They'll be
Hear
back
now?
next week though.
We
They're
pulled the
out this
plug.
week.
Oh
They
my
couldn't
god!
afford it. We didn't get our check in time. So
Talk to my people, man.
yeah, Diet Smoke, best Delta 8, Delta 9, THC, gummies, vapes, anything you need. I've got mine right here. Let me pull it out for the people. This is all I use right here. This stuff, it's legal, it's light, but it's just right. This stuff is the best. Code Nick and Bean. Last week they were giving out, I think, 50%. I'll have to check in with them. It's still that. It's going to be a minimum of 20% off.
Yeah.
So that's
I think
what
also
we're
got
brought to
free
you by.
shipping too.
Free shipping for sure. And
Don't
if
forget
you
that.
have any problems with it, you just message us. So we're brought to you by Diet Smoke. Let's hop in to how we're feeling, Nick. Week 1 is in the books, and you might not know the name of the Washington team in the NFL, but you did hit the bet that you included them in.
It really don't matter if I know the name or not. You know what I'm saying? I know the team. I know football, Bean.
All right, well, get this off our page. We see the
Right.
Diet Smoke. They only paid for 30 seconds of an ad read, all right? So get them off the page. All right, perfect. So I'm going to
We're expensive.
recap, and
It's like
what we'll do is
like a Super Bowl.
$500,000. Yeah, no, we gave them a break this week. So what I'm going to do at the beginning of every episode, so we can just go back and remember our records, because last year, remember how bad your record was, but you claimed you were over 500. So we're just going to, at the beginning of every pod, we'll recap the season records. And you're beating me this week. Were you 2-2? I think you only gave out 3 bets. How were you 2-2?
I only gave out 3 bets. All right, we'd have
Pretty
to
sure. I think you're two. I had you at 2-1. I had you hit the Ravens, you hit that teaser, and then Pittsburgh blew your other teaser.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh sucked. Jared Goff. I missed on the Jared Goff to throw an interception. That was the Thursday night little special I gave out. That's on the
The
pre-pod.
Thursday nights aren't going to count on the record because no one can hear it in time. So,
if you listen live,
P-Town, Plantation, baby, let's go, Andrew Foreman. Shout out, one of the greatest cities in the world. So you were 2-1. I was 1-3, and hand up. Carolina was not a good bet. And I'm gonna take full responsibility, because Bryce Young, I know he looks very small out there. He can't weigh more than 175 pounds, but he was not the reason they lost. I was the reason. My phone broke at 1:05 p.m. on Sunday.
Damn.
I missed about half of the 1 o'clock games. An absolute nightmare. I mean, legitimate nightmare. So I'll take the blame for the Carolina loss. Travis Etienne hit a buzzer beater walk-off touchdown to ruin my under in that game. Did have him in fantasy. So 2-1 for Nick. You hit on the Ravens. You hit on your teaser with the Cardinals, the Washington Cardinals, and you lost your teaser because of Pittsburgh. I was 1-3 in my bets, but I will say I had a great fantasy week. I won all my important leagues. I was 5-1. I went
2-2 in fantasy.
2-2 in fantasy. All right, so good fantasy week, bad betting week for me. You were solid on both sides. Let's jump
500
in.
will take it.
500 you'll take for sure.
You know.
Let's jump into impact players, baby. Week 1 of the NFL season, impact players, and there's no one else to be the first impact player of the week. This was the easiest pick from our hometown team, the Cheetah. 11 catches, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. What a game, Nick.
That game was amazing. The way they closed it was pretty dope with that Tyreek Hill fade. Well, they closed it with a sack, but I mean, offensively, they closed it with that perfect pass we're throwing fade routes to like 5'8" wide receivers. I mean, the margins on that pass are probably like within a half an inch or something crazy. They look good. They look good. The Chargers offense aren't the most stout. I should have mute this. Sorry. The Chargers offense aren't the most stout.
What's
The Chargers
going on?
defense. I'm shook. I'm losing confidence.
What was that? What are you fucking listening to?
I was pulling up videos for as an ad. I was pulling up videos of Tyreek Hill. I was going to show some videos of Tyreek Hill.
All right. Yeah. We're not that advanced yet. Let's just give the people the information.
We're not ready for that.
I don't need you to bring in video yet. We just started with our video. Let's just stick to this.
Okay. So, the Chargers defense isn't particularly the most stout defense in the league, but our offense does look like one of the most stout most potent offenses probably in the league.
Especially and it's funny because on the Charger side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball, they've got Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Derwin James. I mean, the list of superstars is there. It just shows you that when Tua's healthy and when Mike McDaniels is dialing it up, you really can't stop us. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. And on the other side of the ball, Herbert was decent. I think he only threw for 228 yards, but Eckler did whatever he wanted. I mean, he absolutely crushed us. Ran the ball down our throats.
How many yards did he get? Let me see.
Eckler had a ton, and he got hurt. Give me the stats on that. I know he had a big catch. He had like a 70-yard run. I mean, he got wherever he wanted on the field. He did get hurt. His status is in question for this week, but Joshua Kelly stepped right in and did his thing as well. Pull up those stats, Nick. What do we got for Eckler?
Yeah, hold up.
I mean, you are the slowest person ever at getting stats.
I ended up, I don't have a go-to way of looking this up. I ended up getting a week 2, even though I clicked on the actual game.
So you still don't have it? All right. I already have it because you're just the slowest human being ever. All right. Austin Eckler, 16 carries, 117 yards, and a score. And then he added in 4 catches for 47 yards. He had 164 total yards. Joshua Kelly added in 91 yards. They ran the ball for 233 yards. They crushed us. They crushed us. So luckily we have a potent offense. Luckily we came back time after time and won the game. But I think Tyreek Hill, so I'm going to bring a little fantasy aspect into the game. Before the season, the number 1 pick standard in most drafts was Justin Jefferson. There were cases to be made for Jamar Chase, Christian McCaffrey. I didn't really see anyone outside of those 3 guys who was being drafted number 1. And I think Tyreek Hill showed us, hey, you could have taken me number 1 overall. I'm that type of guy who wins you a week. I should have been in contention for that number 1 pick. So he had a monster game. I had him in one of my leagues, and it was fun.
I guess that's always, you could say, hindsight 2020. What I would say is we want to see, at the end of the year, the consistency. And I think there's probably more risk of his quarterback going down than other.
For sure. The risk is there, and that's probably why people held off.
Kupp wasn't that number 1 guy either,
Well, yeah, Kupp. If he drafted early, he was in contention, but he's hurt. So that's
for me,
a whole nother reason.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. So Tyreek Hill, number 1, by far impact player. Guy I just mentioned at number 2, the sexy pick of the week was the Pittsburgh Steelers. So much money and bets came in on the Steelers. They were catching 2.5 at home. Everyone had him in a teaser, including you. Got him through the 3, got him through the 7. And guess what? They got killed. And another hand up here. I may have mistaken Kenny Pickett and Brock Purdy. Kenny Pickett may suck, and Brock Purdy may be good. I might have mixed those 2 up. I may have mixed those 2 up because Purdy, he's not going to go ahead and win the game for you, but he sure as hell did not lose that game against a really solid Pittsburgh defense. He fit a few nice balls into Ayuk for a touchdown and a few other plays. But McCaffrey, let me read you his stats: 22 for 152 and a score. He also caught 3 balls. It just shows you that, number 1 guy in fantasy from hit my mic there. Hold on. Number 1 guy in fantasy from a few years back, and he had the injury, so people were a little bit down on him in the last couple of years. But you took the number 1 guy and easily top 3 most talented running back, and you stuck him in the best offense in the league. So when you got Shanahan scheming for him, like he's too good. If he stays healthy, he's going to be the number one back.
You think it'll be number one?
I do think he's going to be number one. I do have him in 2 leagues as well, which was very nice.
Okay, yeah. I mean, what Saquon showed me, I mean, I thought Saquon had potential to be there. I don't know after week 1 what it looks like.
I think you could throw that week out, but the game, I mean, the Niners just looked like the Niners of last year before they didn't have a quarterback in the NFC title.
Yeah.
That defense just flies around. They really disrupted Pittsburgh offense, who coming out of I think people watched a little too much preseason because everyone was so hyped by Kenny Pickett and Pickens and Deontay and Najee in the preseason. Yeah, and they kind of just, I think they realized about a quarter in, hey, we're playing up a level of competition, and the Niners are just a class above them. So McCaffrey's my impact number 2, our impact player number 2. Anything else on that game, Nick?
The Niners look like a great teaser leg this week. They're at the Rams. They're -7, 6-point teaser. That's easy bread.
But we'll get to that later. Yeah, you may be foreshadowing something, and you mentioning it now is making me nervous. We got Sin City in the building. Who day? Rough week for the Bengals. We'll get to them, but I think they'll bounce back. Joe Burrow always bounces back.
I think they will too.
All right, read us. Go ahead.
I was kind of foreshadowing about the matchup they have this week against Lamar and the Ravens, but I think they get it done.
All right, sounds good. Third impact player, you want to tell him who it is, Nick?
Micah Parsons with the Dallas defense, who I dropped at like noon on Sunday.
You dropped them?
Yeah, because I didn't draft them. It got auto drafted like at the end of the draft.
Okay, and who'd you play instead of them?
Oh my goodness, I thought the Falcons were a good play. It wasn't bad. But like it wasn't like the 40 30 points that the Dallas defense got. You know what I mean?
So Micah Parsons is, when you watch him, I mean, he's just faster, stronger, and I literally, when I watch that defense, I'll just watch him for a few plays in a row, and it's just incredible. And they dominated the game. I mean, he only on the stat sheet had a sack and 3 QB pressures and a few tackles, but his impact is way above that. They had the defense and they had a block kick return for a touchdown. They had a pick 6 for a touchdown. They didn't allow a point, and they just absolutely killed Daniel Jones. And funniest part to me, I don't know if you noticed this, Nick. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's cut in. Brendan's asking, did that Dallas drop cost you a win?
It didn't. It didn't, because the dude started. Damn. So in that league, it's a tattoo league. I've had some crazy bounces in that MetLife Stadium. So last year to win the league, somebody dropped.
Oh, he started Aaron Rodgers?
No, he started Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers blew fourth play. So I just had some bounces in that league. It's a little. It's been
you won the league last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, through after like 7 weeks, you thought you were. Yeah, you thought you were getting a tattoo for losing, and then you won the league.
Crushed.
Hilarious.
I hated my life. I hated fantasy football, and then I ran off like 10 in a row or something like that.
That's how it works sometimes. So, yeah, that defense was great. They smacked Daniel Jones. Oh, there you go. Someone, is that the one? Is that who you beat?
Oh, he did. No, not in that week, and not this week either.
Yeah, so I saw a bunch of crazy things with the people winning leagues with Dallas defense and then losing leagues with Aaron Rodgers. The funniest part about the game to me is I think Brian Daboll was so pissed off with his team and with how bad Daniel Jones was playing. The game's like over in the fourth quarter, and he's like, fuck it. He's like, Daniel Jones, just get out. Just get out there and get your ass beat. He wanted him to get hit. It was hilarious. Oh, shit. We got the guy who lost the tattoo league in the chat. Andrew, respect to you, brother.
Salute.
Shout out to you. Win it this year. I would be very happy if Nick would get a tattoo. That would be amazing.
We're not hopefully not.
So, all right. So that wraps up our impact players. We got Reek, we got McCaff, we got Micah Parsons, and really just the Dallas D overall. And then, really quickly, I mean, not hilarious to the person, but hilarious for Jets fans.
Wild. What
You
a
know,
wild turn of events, man.
they'll always have that Hard Knocks to harp back on, to watch and see how happy they were for a few weeks. But literally the craziest thing ever. I mean, he played in Green Bay his whole career. You know, he comes to New York, so much hype that he plays 4 plays. Done. He may never suit up in the NFL again.
He posted some Instagram post that makes it seem like he wants to play again, but we'll see. The dude's like 40, so
But
we'll
you
see.
know him. You know him. He changes his mind every 20 minutes. He might
He'll
go
be an
into a
ayahuasca.
dark room.
He'll
Yeah,
be an
he might go
ayahuasca
into
in
a
like
dark.
3 months. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let the
So
shaman
I
lead
kind
his way.
of feel bad, for Jets fans, but I also hate the Jets. So
Me too.
sucks for them.
Whatever.
All right, let's get into week 2, NFL season, marquee matchups, baby. We're going to run through the top 5 matchups of the week, and then we actually have our pod picks, but something special for you guys tonight. New segment on the podcast. The prop god himself will be tapping in and giving you his best prop plays of the week. That's the segment, the prop god.
We're bumping it for your typical favorite segment, questions for the dean. That's getting bumped this week. We're bringing in
questions for the dean is getting bumped for the prop god, and
we're bringing in
AKA Nick forgot to write questions for the dean. That's exactly what that means. So, all right, let's hit the marquee. Is that what happened, Nick? Tell me I'm wrong.
It may or may not have happened.
Yeah, this guy, I had to bring him his mic today. I literally brought you the mic. I bought you the adapter. I mean, you can't even write questions for the dean. Come on, man.
I got the thumbnail going. I got the banners going. Amongst all that, it just slipped through my fingers.
Oh, we're going to break news right now on the pod for everyone listening live. Everyone's darling pickup of the week, Puka Nacua, didn't practice today. Oblique injury. There's a little tidbit for everyone that spent all their fab on him. All right, marquee matchups. First one we alluded to earlier, but the Bengals are laying 3 at home against the Ravens. Over-unders 46.5. Neither of these teams looked great last week. The Ravens did beat the Texans pretty handily, but it was looking shaky the first half, and the Bengals got stomped by the Browns. So what are you thinking about this game, Nick?
So I'm thinking it's a divisional game. The 3 is a pretty standard line for them to release.
So they're basically saying it's an even game. They're giving the home team 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, but from what we saw last week, you would say that the Bengals are not ready to play NFL football right now. Like they stayed at home last week, or I don't know, they never even showed up to the stadium. We'll see what happens this week. I think Joe Burrow's quarterback rating was like a 23. We can pull that up. Give me like 13 minutes.
Pull that up. And if you remember last year, they actually I think they had this. It was 100%. They had the Steelers week 1, and he threw 4 picks, and he looked terrible as well. Sin City's in here. Bengals look like a Super Bowl contender. I love the optimism.
That's some fucking optimism for sure.
And so I was watching NFL Network earlier, and they had Burrow on, and they're like, "What's the reason for the haircut?" And he's like, "Well, when you play like I did, you get a haircut." That was what he said. So, he could always turn things around. What do we got here? Oh, you're pulling up the ESPN.com.
Yeah, so he had a 20.3 QBR. Overall, a 52.2 rating. That is not good. 40-31, 82 yards, 2.6 average. I don't know if that's going to get it done, man. I wonder what their yards per point are.
I did allude to it as well. Sin City's right. They did the same thing last year. I do remember.
Yeah.
This is a tough game. It's a divisional matchup. The Ravens always play them well. If we think back to the playoff game that Tyler Huntley started, they are a stupid play away from actually beating the Bengals in Cincinnati in the playoffs. So it's a tough game. I do think it comes down to one possession probably. And also, I think a big thing, if I'm betting this game, I'm waiting for Mark Andrews news. I need to know if Mark Andrews is playing before I'm betting. If I'm leaning Cincinnati right now, I'm firing the bet now. But if I want the Ravens, if he gets ruled out, this might go to 3.5. So it's a tough game to bet, but it's going to be a fun game to watch. It always is.
It always is. Yeah. I agree with
all
that sentiment.
Next matchup, we got the Kadarius Toney led Chiefs going into Jacksonville. The Chiefs are -3.5. The over-under's 51. And the big question, just like the last game, is Travis Kelce going to play? That's the big question, Nick.
Yeah, I'm
Obviously,
not
you don't
sure.
know. I'm not asking you.
I'll say,
I'm
yeah,
not asking
it's between
you,
him and
but
the doctors.
it's got fantasy implications. It's got matchup implications. The Chiefs could easily start 0-2 here. The Jags play them well. If you remember, I know Mahomes got hurt. They played him well in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley looked fantastic. ETN looked great. The defense, decent. But I mean, they're getting 3.5 at home, and like I said, over unders 51. They're expecting a lot of points. You lean in any way on this game, Nick?
No, definitely not. It's one that I wouldn't want to bet. I like both these offenses. With Travis Kelce being out, the offense, they did enough, I thought, to win last week, but they didn't, obviously.
A couple, receiver drops. That was it.
I do respect the Jaguars a little bit more than I respected the Detroit Lions as a team overall, and so that would keep me away. I wouldn't bet the Jags in this game, and the total is way too high for me to want to tease it. The variance of outcomes is too wide for you to gain value by teasing it. So that's a stay away game, but interesting watch because I think there's going to be offense. So I like to watch those games when people score
For
points.
Sure.
It's fun to watch.
I mean, and it's Mahomes. It's Trevor Lawrence.
But yeah, there's a lot of storylines behind it.
I mean, if Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, one of them catches one of those incredible passes he makes last week, they probably beat the Lions, and everyone's probably talking about how incredible he is, without Kelce, which he is, of course. And you know what last week kind of showed me is I think going into last year, we had a lot of thoughts, and even throughout the year of, hey, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, like there's a lot of guys in that top tier. I think what it kind of shows us is that tier is Mahomes, and it's a fucking long way to tier 2. He's the best quarterback. It's a gap. He's the best quarterback by far in the NFL. And I think that showed me all the games in total showed me. Josh Allen needs to get himself right. Jalen Hurts struggled big time. Joe Burrow obviously struggled, but Mahomes, he's always fantastic. So I just wanted to mention that. All right, Nick, give us he's always of course. 2 Super Bowls, of course. But I just wanted to point that out after last week. All right, give us the third game. Give us the third game, Nick.
The next game we got here is the Rams versus 49ers.
The Rams hosting the 49ers. I think you said it earlier. The 49ers are, they're laying 7. -7 49ers over under 44.5. And tell me what you were saying earlier, Nick.
That's prime time for a tease leg because the Rams, honestly, okay, they won the game, but they didn't show me that they were a good team without Cooper Kupp. They're using Tutu Atwell in interesting ways. They're trying to get him on the motion so people can't bump him. They're even that other receiver, not receiver. Well, yeah, Puka, but I mean, I'm talking about the running back. Is Kyren Williams on that squad?
Kyren Williams looked like the starter, yeah.
He's looking good. He's looking good.
Yeah, he was solid. Puka Nacua was great. But obviously, I think, this could be – and I see Tommy here. Let me address Tommy real quick. Bean, what app do you use for news? You just got it. Well, if you remember back to our original first episode of the Nick and Bean pod, Fantasy Life. It's Fantasy Life, Tommy. No, there's only a few people in here. You guys get the exclusive news. Download the Fantasy Life app.
We're going to edit this out of the...
we're going to edit it out of the pod?
I'm deleting it from the audio.
We don't know how to edit it. Come on.
Yeah, I do.
You know how to edit it?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to edit out the pod. Fantasy Life, Tommy.
Yeah.
I've got Fantasy Life, Sleeper, Adam Schefter updates. I got everything running. I get it like 8 times. It's great. All right, so 49ers at Rams. I think the 49ers may just stomp them. If I'm leaning one way, I'm laying the 7. The Rams, and if you remember, the one thing I always like to point out in these games, the Rams own the Seahawks. McVay owns Carroll. Shanahan owns McVay. All right. So the 49ers, even when the Rams were great, they were still beating them. I think this could be a wake-up game for the Rams to say, hey, maybe we need to start tanking unless Cooper Kupp's coming back soon. So
That
I
was
like
a
the
stat I
49ers.
read actually in one of the pods about the 49ers playing the Rams really well. It was like, I
you
think it
did. I
was
think it was
like
either, was
a
it last year or
late
2
week
years
or a
ago?
playoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They always beat them.
even though they were worse, you know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. All right, 2 primetime games, and we actually have 2 Monday night games this week. One of them we're not going to talk about, but the first Sunday night football, baby. Yeah, Tommy, you're welcome, brother. Stay up on that news.
Yeah.
Sunday night football. Tua Tagovailoa goes into New England.
Is
We're
it Sunday
laying
night
two Sunday night. We're laying 2.5. Over unders 46.5. Tua has never lost to Mac Jones. Or sorry, he's never lost to the Patriots. Obviously, never lost to Mac
That
Jones.
boy is what?
Who? Mac Jones? He's terrible.
Mac
And
Jones.
he actually had a decent game. I'll give him that. He had a
Yeah, I
decent
don't
game
care.
last week. Yeah, he's terrible though. He is. He's not good at football. We're gonna beat them. And you know what? Their whole offensive line was either limited or didn't practice today, which gives me some hope. But
Good luck.
it's Bill Belichick at the end of the day. You're never in the clear when you're playing a Bill Belichick team. We're favored in the game. Got to win by a field goal to cover. I never bet on my own team, so I don't give a lean on this game, but I do think it'll be a great game. I think, when the Pats rely, and last week they didn't, they really threw the ball a lot, but I think overall they're at their best when they rely on Ramondre Stevenson in the ground game.
And
He's
you
a
saw what
great
the Chargers. You saw what the Chargers
He
did
saw
to us
what the
last
Chargers did to us. So, if you're listening, Patriots, run the
It might
ball.
on the ball.
Run
But
the ball. And
hopefully
their
our
their
defense
defense
wakes
is
up.
yeah, hopefully. And their defense is always good. It's never going to be easy with them. I don't expect 46. If I'm betting on this game, you're probably going under 46.5. I don't see us putting 34 or whatever 36 points we had on a Bill Belichick defense. I hope we do. Do you have this game? You got any thoughts? You lean in one way? Anything you're
Yeah,
watching
so
for?
when the game dropped, like the lines dropped probably Tuesday, I think the early lines released. They released a -2. I bet it immediately. Dolphins -2.
You
I said,
did.
yeah, I said that's disrespectful.
Okay.
So I bet that immediately. I have that. That's no longer available, so I can't give that out as a pick. Not saying 2.5 and 2 is a huge difference, but it's an expensive 2.5 if you can even find a 2.5. So I can't even give that out as like a -2.5. Even it's really probably a 3 everywhere else.
It may be a change too. I mean, I always put our lines up a couple hours before we record the pod. And of course, things change like all the time. Yeah, it's a -120 on my side at 2.5. So that's a tough 2.5. Going to be a great game, though. Great Sunday night football game. Going to be way better than last week because that Cowboys Giants game was a tough watch. Last game we're going to talk about.
That hurricane may push this game to a different day now.
Nick,
that's what people were. The group texts were going off today during the group texts of in my chats, bro. On the phone, they talk about there's a hurricane near Boston and this and that. They're talking about possibly moving the game.
All right, that's insider info. Last game we're going to talk about: Browns at Steelers. Browns laying 2.5 against the Steelers. Over under 38. That's one of the Monday night games. I love the Steelers here, probably. I'm probably going to add it to my bets right now. I'm not going to, but I like the Steelers here. Yep. I think the Steelers bounce back. Let's see. Dolphins are going to destroy the Pats. It won't be close. Game might be canceled. All right. So we've got people in the chat who really know what they're talking about, unlike myself. And
there's a hurricane near Boston. It's going to be gone by Sunday, but like they're still talking about the game being canceled. So we'll see what the NFL chooses to do. Maybe we get Tuesday football again, like the COVID year or something, or they put on Monday night. They can have 3 games.
All right, sounds good. You leaning any way on this game, Nick? I'm leaning Steelers. 30 over under 38 so low that it might go under that. You got anything on this?
That's so low. I don't have any interesting on this game. The Steelers looked like crap last game. I can't even tease the Steelers. They broke my heart last week. I'm not doing it again.
All right. Sounds good. Brendan says Steelers yuck. Yeah, I feel you. As that came out of my mouth, I'm not sure about it. It's not a pod pick, I'll tell you that. Now, on to what may become the greatest segment in the history of podcasts. We are going to bring in the prop god. Bring him in.
We got to drop the banner.
Dun, 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 dun.
There he
Bring
is.
in. We've got Bedick here. The prop god is here.
I'm going to drop off for a second. I'll be right back. Y'all continue.
You're dropping off?
Just from the view to give the prop god more shine.
Got it. I love that. All right. Well, I'm going to give the prop god a nice intro. He is the OG fantasy guy. He is one of the best bettors I've ever met. And he is the king of props. Mr. Bedick, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Excited to be here. Huge fan of the show. Huge fan of Nick. Huge fan of points per yard, of Argentina, and most importantly, huge fan of Diet Smoke. Shout out Diet Smoke.
Good. 2 ad reads. I mean, we're gonna have to charge them if they're sponsoring the prop god as well. So here's the thought behind this. This is honestly years in the making because, I've always wanted to do something with Bedick, bring him on the show because he gives out winners in our group every week. So I hit him up after the pod and I was like, we need to bring you on. I want your best props of the week. And every week before we do pod picks, as long as you're winning, which I know you will, we're going to bring you on, whether it's 1, whether it's 10. I want you to give us your favorite props of the week and why. So whenever you're ready, hit it off.
Let's do it. A lot of pressure here, but I'm feeling great about a couple of week 2 props. So both props are going to be in the Seahawks at Lions game. The first one is going to be Sam Laporta over 34.5 receiving yards. For Nick, this is the Lions rookie tight end, okay? This is the new phenom in the league. So,
I'm glad you explained that because Nick definitely has no idea who he is. So
tell us why this Sam Laporta is. I definitely know.
You don't know who he is. You hop back. He did have some catches. All right, hop back off, Nick. All right, give us the reasoning behind this one, Bedick.
Okay, here we go. Last season, Seattle gave up the second most yards per game to tight ends. And last week, they gave up 50 yards to Tyler Higbee. That's looking great. Last week, Sam Laporta had 5 catches. He's heavily involved in the offense, and he was on the field for 83% of snaps. Usually, rookie tight ends, they play half the game. They usually have a veteran that they're sitting behind. Sam Laporta is the guy in Detroit, and I am buying until we lose his prop.
I love it. So repeating it. So is it 34.5?
Over 34.5 receiving yards for Sam Laporta.
All right, great. And whenever I think of the Seahawks-Lions game too, I remember last year it was like 40-something to 40-something. It was like the biggest shootout of the year. So, all right, I love it. All right, so you said the second prop. So first prop god pick of the entire history of this segment relies on Sam Laporta over 34.5 yards. Give us the second prop that you have in this game.
Second prop. Okay. As this season progresses, you'll start to see a trend with the Bedick props of the week. And I love a great kicking prop. Okay. So I'm actually going to make an audible here, but my kicking prop of the week is Jason Myers, the Seahawks kicker, over 1.5 field goals.
Okay. For the game,
over 1.5 field goals. He's got to hit 2 field goals.
So I got a question why you single out kicking props. Is it because you get find more of an edge there because not that many people are betting them, or why you go kicker props?
I think they're predictable. Okay. So with this one specifically, it's in a dome. That's a really important thing. The weather can get us. I think Nick had a great point earlier about the hurricane coming to the Northeast. I don't know if that game's going to be canceled, but I certainly don't want to take any kicking props in those games. and Jason Myers was the number one most accurate kicker in the league last year. He doesn't miss.
Okay.
We're not going to blow one. Hopefully, a field goal opportunity. So this prop is also plus 120. So you can get great.
I love that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we get plus money on something that's a yes or no, I like that.
Yeah. Like another kicker prop I like to take is under 47, 46 yards, the longest field goal of the game. So if we know it's going to be really windy out there,
right,
we're going to ride under 47-yard longest field goal of the game. There's a few. There's over 1.5 first half field goals, but we don't want to force it. We need all the conditions to be right. We need good offenses. We need good kickers. We can't do the Chargers who go for it on 4th and 15. We need these perfect conditions. And with Jason Myers, it checks all the boxes this week.
Nice. The prop god, folks. I like it.
Pressure is on. I mean, the prop god, we know. I love what you did, though. You knew what you didn't try to go crazy. You didn't try to give us some sexy pick. You gave us what you know and what you win with. So I'm going to repeat it for the people. Laporta over 34.5 yards. Get it in quickly. And because when people hear the prop god, I mean, these numbers could go up. The lines could change when they hear these picks from you. So Laporta over 34.5 yards. Jason Myers over 1.5 field goals. Lock them in, ladies and gentlemen. The prop god will be back with you next week once he's 2-0 on the season.
Absolutely. Yeah. And guys, I'm not guaranteeing wins on these props, but what I will guarantee is giving you guys good reasonings behind them. If they hit, they hit, but we're always going to have stats to back them up and logic to support the picks. And usually that works out in the long run. So
I love that. Well, you're bringing something new to the show. You're unlike Nick, he just doesn't even look. He just fires, Right, Nick?
Yep.
It's not quite the method.
Before I head off, I just wanted to say they let me backstage before this podcast today, and Nick had the shirt off and put a shirt on. And for the people, Nick, keep it off next time. All right, we want to see it there. Okay.
You know what?
We're gonna leave it off.
We received the same request from some of the Argentinian fans as well, so we're gonna take it into account. We'll talk to our producer, but we appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely, love you guys.
Peace. All right. Prop God segment 1 done. We've got a question in the chat. Should I trade Addison for Pacheco? I need a running back. JJ, give me while we start the pod picks. Well, Nick's not even gonna. Nick says yes, but I would like to know the format of your league. Is it PPR? Is it two receiver, 2 running back? Shoot that in the chat while we start the pod picks, and I'll answer that as well. So we do have questions for the Dean. It's from someone who's not named Nick. All right. Prop God's done. Pod picks, baby. Week 2. Yeah. I'm starting us off.
This is what we get paid for.
10-man PPR. If you really need a running back, I don't hate it. If you really need one, I do think there's a lot of upside for Addison. If I had equal running back and equal receiver, I'd probably take a shot on Addison. But Pacheco is a starting running back. He had 4 catches the first week. If you need an RB, don't feel bad capitalizing and getting him.
You kind of have to. Addison has the higher ceiling, but he's right now not even taking snaps at the rate of the wide receiver too. So yeah, if you need an RB, you got to go with your need, honestly. Even though the other guy,
and he has Madison. He says he has Madison and Jonathan Taylor. He lost JT. Yeah, I mean, also Madison, having 2 Vikings isn't the greatest. I would do it. Go ahead and do it and feel good about it. So, all right, I'm going to give you my first pick of the week. All right. And I liked what I saw out of this team last week. They did not win. They did not cover, but what they showed you was they are a competent football team coached by a new coach who is solid, and that's the Houston Texans. All right. They are at home. Yeah, I know. They are at home this week. The line, and I actually bet it at +1. It's all the way to -1.5. I still like it, though. I still like them to beat the Colts at home. The Colts are more of a public team with the sharp bettors on Houston with myself. CJ Stroud didn't make any mistakes last week. No interceptions against a really tough Ravens defense. They hung around in that game. I really like the Texans here at home with DeMeco Ryans. Will Anderson looked great on defense. They've got solid receivers. Dameon Pierce is a good running back. They got a good O-line. They really showed me something last week. I think they get their first win of the seasons, and they beat the Colts at home. Give me the Texans -1.5.
Okay, that's a scary pick with the Texans. The Colts are not very good. Anthony Richardson looked shook out there. He didn't really look very confident. So, all right. It's neither of those teams are awesome, but I guess I like your reasoning behind it. So
yeah, and I mean Anthony Richardson, he's bound to start turning the ball over, and I think we see it. I think they have a couple picks, and I think they'll win the game. And we have kickoff, by the way. Jalen Hurts is taking the first snap. Nick, give us your first pod pick of the week.
I put them in a teaser. I just put them in a teaser literally just now. So my first pod pick of the week, I've got a 3-team teaser for you.
Oh, that's so right. You're giving us. I mean, what does this pay?
This pays out. I think
plus
it's like
180 or something.
Plus 150, I believe. Plus 150. So I'm taking the Chicago Bears. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, and I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm putting them in a teaser.
Got it. So if my memory serves me correctly, you're getting 8.5 with the Bears. The Bills are -3, and the
-2.
-2, and give me the other one.
The Ravens are up to +9.
Oh, I like it.
So they're not. I don't believe they're going to get blown out. So like even if they do lose this game, I don't think that with their offense, they're kind of like the Browns. They ground and pound, and on top of that, they do it well. So it's not like a team with like, oh, some weeks they run well, some weeks they don't. Like the Ravens' run game is consistent. They're going to get yards. I know they lost that running back with an Achilles. I believe that Gus Edwards, Justice Hills, and whoever they use alongside Lamar is proficient against any NFL defense you line up. So week to week, I think they have enough to get it done on the ground at least. And the ceiling that they have in the air is still there. The Bengals did not show me jack shit. I think I'm still high on the team. I do think like you can have an off week, especially week 1. But dude, I'm not sure that they can turn around in week 2, snap it up together. They do have a lot of motivation coming into the spot. They're at home, so they'll have the crowd behind them. But are they going to just come in here and blow out a 10-win team typically like the Ravens? I don't see a blowout. Give me Ravens +9 and that teaser. Buffalo Bills, we've got the Raiders coming all the way across the country against Josh Allen, who looked like crap last week. So maybe that might sway a few people. That's why I'm not bought in on -8. The Raiders are not a good team, and they did come over to this coast a little bit early to acclimate to the time, but I don't think that's enough. Give me the Bills as that other teaser leg down to -2. So that's through the 3 through to 7. I think they win that a large percent of the time. And then give me lastly the Chicago Bears up to +8.5. We've got Baker Mayfield. He's at home. He did look okay at times, but last week he didn't play a very good team. And the Chicago Bears, I think, have a lot of upside. They probably could win this game outright. I might take their money line if it looks 120. I don't really love that, but I like them teased out to +8.5 a lot.
All right, my pick. You just pick one. I don't even know. That was the longest pod pick in history. So if I recap, you just do a 6-point tease: Buffalo, Chicago, and give me the last one because I'm blanking on it again. Jesus.
Bills.
Buffalo, Chicago, Ravens. All right, cool.
Oh, Ravens. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Second pick of the week. I got to get the line. I lost it, but this one's. I think this one's an easy one.
I got you on lines.
You got two. No, I got it right here. You got two. Oh my God. Deep ball, Devontae Smith. Big deep ball, maybe 50, 60 yards there. So here you go. I've got two
we can
dog
sort of see the replay in what's his face's jersey in D-Wade in the bottom corner.
D-Wade's jersey. Too funny. All right, so I've got the two dog shit quarterbacks of the year in this teaser or in this under. This is all I'm going to give out after you gave us that incredible explanation. But Russell Wilson versus Sam Howell, under 38.5 in Denver. It's a low number, but it's a low number for a reason because they suck, both those quarterbacks. So Washington, Denver, under 38.5. Go ahead, Nick.
All right. Thrown right back to me. And my last teaser, you can get it to – oh, so no, you can't even get this tonight because the points have moved. What happened in that Atlanta Packers game where now Atlanta is favored? Because I have a teaser here with Atlanta up to +7 and Detroit down to a pick 'em. Both these lines have moved like 3 points each, and you can't even get those numbers. And I'm not so it scares me off taking that teaser as a pod pick. But I do have that in the book, as well as Cleveland Browns -1.5, which I had bet Tuesday. Then I also threw in a Washington Commanders +9.5 and Philadelphia Eagles pick 'em in a teaser. If you're live, you can get you can't get the Philly.
You can't get anything. What's your pod pick?
My pod pick would be, I'm just going to have to give out Detroit Falcons.
Okay.
As a teaser.
So Detroit, it's like +1.5 you'll get, or they got to win. And then the Falcons,
you're going to get it like you're going to get it like +4 because now they're down to -2. But when I took it, they're at +1.
Well, it doesn't matter when you took it. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear give me the exact numbers on it.
Yeah. So right now the Falcons are -2. So if you tease that 6 points, you're going to get a +4.
Got it. So it's a Falcons-Lions tease.
Yeah. The Lions are -4.5. So if you tease that, you're going to get a you're going to like +1.5, I believe.
All right. Sounds good. I'll give you my last pod pick of the week. The Niners and the Bears in a teaser. Niners will be -1. The Bears will be +8.5. I actually like the Bears money line as well. I'll probably end up betting that. I think the Niners are going to win against the Rams. Simple as that for me. My 3 pod picks are the Texans -1.5, the Washington Denver under 38.5, and the Bears Niners tease to the Niners -1, Bears +8.5.
Right. So
give me yours, Nick. Repeat them for the people.
I've got the Lions and Falcons teased. And then I've got the 3-team teasers between the Ravens, the Bills, and the Bears. Oh, my.
Beautiful. All right. I smashed Nick in FanDuel last week. I cashed actually in the Millionaire Maker for like $20. I had Tyreek and Tua, which was beautiful. I beat you by 50 points or something. So you have – or did I send it to you or not? Or should I read mine off?
Just read yours off, and you can send it to me if you want. Yeah,
because I don't think I sent it to you because I didn't want you copying mine. I love my FanDuel this week. I got like the 4 top receivers somehow in this thing. So I'll read you mine. I got Joe Burrow at quarterback. I think he bounces back this week. My running backs, I went cheap, but I've got Jahmyr Gibbs and Isaiah Pacheco. I think Gibbs plays well against Seattle. They talked about getting him the ball more. He's clearly incredible when he has it. Pacheco is going to get the ball against Jacksonville. 3 receivers. I stacked Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow. I've got Stephon Diggs and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those 3 are – what a 3 there. Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Stephon Diggs. I've got Tyler Higbee at tight end. And then another receiver, I got Devontae Adams in the flex, rounded out with the Commanders D. So Burrow, Gibbs, Pacheco, Chase, St. Brown, Diggs, Higbee, Adams, Commanders. What you got, Nick?
All right, so I went with Daniel Jones at the quarterback position. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals. That team is very trash. Then I took Saquon Barkley to stack him with him for the very exact same reason. Then from there, I took Calvin Ridley and put him in the wide receiver slot. He's looking like a stud so far this year.
I like that.
Yeah, he's looking like a stud so far this year. I picked him up in a fantasy league. I wasn't high on him when I picked him, but he's been crushing it. Then I went with Michael Pittman Jr. against Houston. He hasn't looked.
He had a big
great.
week.
Yeah, he hasn't looked. I'm not like expecting much from him, but he's like he's a consistent wide receiver one. I took up Mike Williams against the Tennessee defense. I expect the Chargers to score and score at will, and I took. No, I'm gonna have to switch this flex out. It's too much money. I tried to take Tony Pollard and put him in the flex, but at $8,000, that is not gonna work. So let me remix
what are we
it
doing
live.
Here? You don't have it done?
I'm remixing it live. We're taking Tyler Algier and we're putting him in the flex to try to buy a tight end, because I take the New York Giants defense against the Arizona Cardinals because they are that bad.
Yep.
And at tight end, we're just going to take someone very cheap. We're going to put in there.
All right, you're killing me. We're trying to wrap the show up. What are you doing? Give us a tight end.
Tyler Higbee.
All right, so you copied my tight end. All right, read off your FanDuel for the people, please.
We've got Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Dillon, Calvin Ridley, Michael Pittman Jr., Mike Williams, Tyler Higbee, Tyler Algier, and the New York Giants defense.
Beautiful. All right, Justin Jefferson already has a 20-yard catch. Let's get to this game. Yeah, the Giants are bad too. You might not be wrong, Rod. Let's see what they do this week. You are probably right, my friend. We appreciate everyone who tuned in. Listen to the pod this week or next week, whatever it is. We appreciate everyone. We appreciate Diet Smoke. Nick, set us off.
Shout out to the sponsors. Have a good week too, and enjoy your week, fellas.
Peace.
Bye. All right, let's end stream.